Hey James, here's the video from our session at Mississauga. I'm going to start here with the video on the left from the face on, just to talk about some of the things that we discussed. The first thing that I really wanted to get to was the setup and some ideas around your setup, trying to make sure that we really understand what it is that we are trying to get to. So you mentioned to me that through your experience, you've worked on some things to avoid this little bit of a forward press, which I don't think is a huge deal. But you fought a little bit of a ball that curves too much to the right, so too much overdraw. So your ball starts on line most of the time. It might start a little bit left every so often, but nothing to be concerned with. But when the ball curves so hard to the right, that usually tells me that the path goes too much from inside out. Now, that could be related to a bunch of different things, but the thing that I really want to get to here is how we're getting such an in to out club path. So the first thing that we're going to look that I noticed or that we talked about was that your foot flare. So the foot flare here, pretty good. Not going to do much about it. But when this one also gets kind of angled in the same direction, it twists the rest of our alignment. So we're going to try and feel as though that the feet are flared out just a little bit. So when we get the foot flares out a little bit, it starts to get a little bit of your alignments better. So one of the things that I do want to notice is that if I go through the middle of your stance right here, there's more of your hips on the right than there is on the left. So I can see more of your hip on that side, which if I took a view from behind, it would kind of show me that the center of your hips are sitting back on your back foot. So you're kind of predisposed to being on your back foot, aimed, kind of open to your target line, but then your alignments are also open. So then what happens is that you get a little bit of a neck tilt, which goes back this way to give you the sensation that you're behind the ball. But this eye line also helps you deliver the club from the inside. So if we start taking a look here on the other side of things, over on the left side, when you make your swing and it goes up to the top, we can see that as this club comes down, we're getting it pretty good from the inside, right? The club's pretty close to the ball and it's moving in to out pretty good. So the eye line has a lot to do with that. When your eyes are back here behind the golf ball, it's going to help you deliver this club into the ball kind of more from the inside. So all of your alignments, I believe, are a big reason why you have the ball curving too much to the right. You hit the ball far, so it's not a distance thing. This is a control thing. So let's clear all this up and actually take a look at what we've got. So if I take a look at the swing on the right, play it here. Let's do this again. All right, now we'll kind of break it down and kind of look at it a bit. So as you take the club back, we can see that your arms, well, let's talk about color. The red arms are moving away from your black legs. So what that means is that when your hands move out away from your body, that's sucking the club head to the inside. So you've got your hands moving out this way, while your club head is trying to move that way. So we're getting a little bit too much of what I call, a rolling takeaway. That gets the club a little bit too inside. Now, one of the things that happens from here is that when you start to leverage this club and lift it up, you actually let go of the golf club. So your bottom hand comes back and it lets go. So if we take a look right here and see if I can bring this in just a little bit. I can't zoom in on that, but you can kind of see that right on your bottom hand that you've let go of it right there. That's going to be an issue for you as well. So we've got a little bit of the setup stuff, the foot flare, the eye line. We talked about trying to feel as though that since your head tilts this way, that you're trying to pour a little bit of water out of this ear, kind of get the neck tilt going a little bit, and then holding onto the golf club. So if you can hold on to the golf club and keep it solid, we can start to get a little bit better, call it positions or rotations or range of motions to your body. Right here, if I get this line back to where I had it earlier, we could go with a little bit more shoulder turn. The shoulder turn could happen a little bit more. We could raise this arm a little bit higher, crank it up a little bit farther. But most importantly, we can get a little bit more, call it loading or bracing into this back side at the top of your swing. So there's some mechanical things that I do see that we can kind of tackle. And that would be more of a longer term approach to this. In terms of this is our winter season. We've got somewhere between, call it 16, 20 weeks ahead of us before we get back outside next summer. We've got a lot of time to make some of the smaller changes that work on the rhythm and the timing and some more precise things. But the biggest thing that I'm noticing is that through your setup position, it's kind of leading you into this, I don't know how we say it, into this kind of delivery of getting the club too much from the inside, getting too much draw, and with the weight flying forward too early as a power source, we're noticing it through the roll of your foot, but we're also noticing it through the huge lean back or this tilt that you've got. That's another way to really make sure that this club comes from the inside, but it also delivers some shallowness to it. So, through the whole piece of all this, we're going to get the path less into out, more closer to straight, and we're going to get the club getting a little more steeper into the golf ball. And I think those two things are going to straighten your ball flight. So some of the things that we worked on was just trying to get a little bit of, if we can call it, stability. If we can get some stability to where it is that some stability to the backswing, I think that we can find a little bit of a better feeling to all this. So one of the things that we did is I brought out my favorite discs, and I don't know how to change that one. That's interesting. Just like that. Okay, so we brought out the discs, and right away that we can see that some of the things have changed just slightly. Not a huge amount, but slightly. And I think that when we can get those things adjusted, man, is it ever going to change? So if I bring up this over here, now we've got your top of swing on the left on the balance discs, and your top of swing on the right. We didn't talk about anything. I didn't ask you to do anything different on the right than I did to make it look different on the left. I just put you on those discs. So we have a massive improvement right there from being on the discs versus from where you are. So, all in all, we've got the foot flare, we've got the water pouring out of your ear. We're trying to get a feeling of keeping your bottom hand, your trail hand, the left one, keeping that on the golf club. And when those things stay solid and we can get a little bit better ranges of motion, maybe a little tweaks to how you take it to this picture here on the right, I think that we're really going to get some changes. So to finish it off, I think I have, there it is, one swing of some afterlooks. So this one here on the left is where it looked closer toward the end of the session. Now, we didn't talk about a whole lot other than the setup, holding onto the club. And we noticed that right away the ball flight started to get a little bit more consistent. We started to get a little bit better with control of the shot, but your dispersion, your misses became so much better. So I think that we can put a really good plan together here to get you striking the ball exactly where you want to. And then from there, we evaluate where it is that you're losing your shots on the golf course. But all in all, I think that this is going to be a really fun winter project to try and really get all these pieces working in a better fashion. And I think that one of the things that we're going to see through the progress of all this is if we take a look at the relationship here between where your club head is and where your hands are, as this club comes down, we're going to start to see this shaft flatten out. And through each step of the way, the shaft is going to flatten out a little bit more until we can deliver that club into the golf ball, touch steeper, a little bit less from in to out, so you can bring your dispersion cone of possible shots in a little bit, and obviously bring your scores down. So take a look at this, go through it, and give me a shout. Let me know what you think. Thanks very much.